You've probably seen this in someone close to you. Maybe you've seen pieces of it in yourself. Psychology suggests that emotional intelligence isn't a fixed trait. It shows up, or quietly doesn't, in the smallest daily habits. And most of the time, it's not what you think. Here's what low emotional intelligence actually looks like in everyday life. Number 1, they interrupt people mid-sentence, and they don't notice they're doing it. This isn't simply bad manners. Psychologists link habitual interrupting to poor impulse regulation, the inability to hold space for someone else while your own thoughts are demanding to be released. It reveals a mind that's far more occupied with speaking than with listening. Number 2, they hear feedback as a personal attack. Research shows that people with lower emotional intelligence tend to fuse their identity with their output. When someone says this idea has a problem, they hear you are the problem. The defensiveness isn't arrogance, it's a self-worth that has become too dependent on being right. Number 3, the words "I was wrong" feel almost impossible to say. Admitting a mistake requires enough self-awareness to separate your ego from your actions. Psychology suggests that people with low EQ haven't built that internal gap yet. Being wrong doesn't just feel like a mistake, it secretly feels like a verdict on who they are. Number 4, every disagreement becomes a battle they need to win. Psychologists call this emotional flooding, when feelings hijack logical thinking and the goal silently shifts from understanding to not losing. They don't fear being wrong. They fear what being wrong means about them. Number 5, they minimize what other people feel. You're overreacting. It's not that serious. Why are you so sensitive? Psychologists identify empathy and perspective taking as the 2 core pillars of emotional intelligence. When someone consistently dismisses another person's emotional experience, it reveals a subtle but significant gap in both. Number 6, they react immediately, before the thought has had a chance to form. High emotional intelligence lives in the space between a stimulus and a response. Research shows that in people with low EQ, emotional flooding happens so rapidly that the nervous system acts before any reflection can begin. They move from feeling to action with nothing in between. Recognizing these habits isn't a judgment, it's awareness. And awareness is the very first skill emotional intelligence is built on. Nobody starts with a perfect EQ, but the people who grow it always begin the same way, by getting honest about where the gaps actually are. The next video might reveal what genuinely high emotional intelligence looks like when you see it in real life. Subscribe if you're someone who's always been more interested in growing than in being right.